We're back, bitches!
Woohoo!
Episode 25 of the Braindrizzle podcast, our first episode back from hiatus, since we did the last one mid-hiatus.
Yep, because we're professionals. We don't really know what hiatus means.
Yeah, we had to look it up in the dictionary. It was a whole thing. So this week we're going to start a little different and answer some of your questions. And if you leave us questions in the comments of this podcast, we'll answer them on the next Horseful.
Yep. Be ready. Alright, starting with the Backwood Link. Recently, there have been TV shows reporting the fact that certain people use urine for many purposes, as in bathing, eye drops, mouthwash, and even as a thirst quencher. They seem to swear by their unusual habits, as if it were their own fountain of youth. Would urine stem cells have anything to do with their claims of urine promoting good health and hygiene? At least they can't get pissed off, right?
So, quick answer, no. Long answer, no, because the stem cells would be destroyed through ingestion. They wouldn't be absorbed. They wouldn't grow into any kind of useful tissue throughout the body because the scientists had to, isolate them and then coax them into becoming other tissue types. So, no.
Yeah, as far as, the health benefits of all the urine stuff, in areas where a famine was frequent, it actually became common to drink urine to kind of recycle the vitamins that are excreted. Also, as far as, I don't know about the bathing, but as far as, eye drops and mouthwash, urine has a high salinity, and it came from the body, so it has, a comparable pH balance, so it can be used in place of saline, if need be. And as far as mouthwash goes, if you gargle warm salt water, that is a home remedy to help with toothache. So I imagine maybe urine works in a similar way. I do also know that, I don't know if everybody else knows this, but urine is actually sterile. There are no bacteria in it at all, so, it's pretty safe to put in your eyes.
Not to be confused with sterilizing. It doesn't get rid of bacteria. It just natively contains no bacteria.
Yeah, so, it's safe to do these things, and I guess, maybe if you're a soldier out in the desert and you needed some eye drops, you could use that in a pinch. I'd have to ask a vet if they've ever seen anybody do that, because I don't know personally. But, yeah, so I imagine that's probably what all that's about. But it's just kind of a survival thing.
I guess a fun experiment to try it home if you want. Leave a comment if you tried it.
Yeah, I'm not going to. We have plenty of saline.
Okay. Next question.
Jaybird196 asks, on the topic regarding planting trees in the desert, might also thoroughly mixing the soil/sand in the area with moist compost also help?
I think it might help. It might, increase some carbon uptake, but I think that would require just a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of man-hours to, actually do that on any kind of, usable scale. I think the idea with the trees we mentioned in Brainstorm is that they can survive the arid climate with minimal irrigation.
Yeah, so, also, doing too much to alter the soil there, while also, planting a bunch of trees there, could significantly impact the ecosystem in the desert, possibly in a negative way, because you'd be introducing new bacterias, potentially, new bugs, if there are, critters in the compost.
That's true. But a disclaimer, on science questions, we are talking mostly out of our ass. So, just take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's basically, these are just the things that we know as being a science-literate person. Never underestimate the power of science literacy, by the way. However, always double-check things. That's the point of science. The scientific method is nothing but checking things out and double-checking them.
Yeah.
So be science.
Yeah,
Peer review us.
Yeah, we should have a shirt that just says be science. Oh, new shirt. Doing that. Okay.
New shirt.
Last question.
Atheist Primate says, Having suffered a spinal cord injury in 1992 that has left me paralyzed from the chest down. Since my question is, how far behind will treatments for chronic injuries like mine be from the stem cell research we hear about that seems to mostly be aimed at acute injuries? I know scar tissue and nerve stubbings are two of the added problems brought on during the weeks and months after the injury, but how much of a roadblock do you think this will pose?
I don't think that necessarily applies to the urine stem cell story we covered. I mean, there's a lot of research that's specifically about spinal cord repair, and again, with all these things, it could be years before there are clinical trials. I mean, for spinal cord injuries, I think your best bet is the electromechanical workaround, where they, take the signals from, the top of the spinal cord, reroute it over the damaged area, and then stimulate the other end. So, I mean, I would research specifically spinal cord related research and not necessarily general stem cell research.
Yep, good call. Alright, so let's get to the science.
Right. Alright, news. Now, Jack.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready for some haterade?
Oh, I'm always ready for haterade.
So remember, a few weeks ago, one of our first episodes actually, we talked about golden rice being approved in the Philippines.
Woohoo! Yep.
A square kilometer of a test field for golden rice was attacked by 400 militant farmers.
What?
Yeah.
Who does that? What the fuck?
Yeah.
God damn it.
And here's the ironic part. Their main justification is worries of contamination. However, one, rice is self-pollinating, so it's very unlikely to spread.
Yeah.
And two, these are closed field trials. There's nets and fences and shit.
Oh my god. What do they think plants pollinate through vibes? God damn it.
But the thing that would cause the most contamination is people breaking down the fence and walking in the field.
I know, right? God damn it. And then
And
tracking them boots back through their own fields. Fucking Christ. They did not think that one through.
I know, it's there's not enough city testing. It's that's what they're trying to do. They're in the middle of testing.
What do you want?
It's no wonder there's not enough testing. You fucking idiots interrupt the experiment.
Yeah, seriously. God damn it. What the hell?
But luckily it was one of 6 fields, so it's still growing.
Good. Alright. Yeah, I'm done with that story. I'm done with those people. Next.
Alright, next story. I'm just gonna read the story straight up.
Alright.
Title: Why Guppies Have Genital Claws.
What? You were shitting me.
New research from evolutionary biologists at the University of Toronto shows that the male guppy grows claws on its genitals to make it more difficult for unreceptive females to get away during mating. Moving on.
Yeah, okay. I don't need to hear any more about that. That is horrible. Cats, ducks, and now guppies. Fucking Christ. Fuck you, nature.
I've always wanted to do a story that was just weird and just read the title and be okay, moving on.
Alright. Okay, so, you got another one, or is it my turn?
Yeah, I know I got one more.
Okay, let's do it.
Suburban sprawl may actually be good for climate change.
Ruh-roh? I thought those yuppies were the enemy.
Here's the thing, though. The suburban sprawl provides way more potential surface area for solar panels.
Ooh, just gotta get those Fox News watchers to stick that shit on their house.
But see, think about it, people are always saying, do cities build up, be more dense? But that's a lot of minimal surface area for solar panels.
Yeah, good point.
So these big sprawling suburbs, you get solar panels on all those roofs, that's a good chunk of power.
Hell yeah. Oh man, a lot of people would go for that around here because the electric company is corrupt and evil, and I hate them. And they charge too many fees, and my electricity bill is too damn high.
So basically, a study is like turning green city planning on its head.
Woohoo!
Because they're like, blah, blah, blah.
Suburbs?
So I just thought that was an interesting switcheroo.
Hells yeah. Fuck yeah, science.
It was like an M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Oh, what a twist.
So, that's pretty much all I have.
Alright, I only got 2 stories, but they were, like, really fucking good. First one. There's this guy in Toronto who had a stroke, right? He had the stroke that it occurred in the thalamus, which is the brain's, like, central area where all the signals get relayed. It's like a relay station. And apparently, as a result of the stroke, he acquired synesthesia, which is where where the senses cross. It's like the one that lets you hear colors and like taste sound.
Yeah, I actually had a friend with synesthesia once.
I am jealous of your friend.
It's apparently pretty trippy. Actually, you know what? Alex has synesthesia.
Really?
Yeah.
I am jealous of her.
She associates numbers with certain colors.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently this is the second time that they know of where this has happened, where a brain injury has caused synesthesia.
Because it's usually, like, inborn, right?
Yeah, you're usually born with it. Basically, it occurred like 9 months after the stroke, and he noticed that words that were written in blue just like made him feel disgusted, and yellow did the same thing, but it like not as much. And also, whenever he saw the color blue, it tasted like raspberries, and whenever he tasted raspberries, they tasted like blue to him. Apparently, he really hates raspberries.
Yeah, Facebook must be a nightmare.
Oh god, I know, right? And he's just like, Argh! It's like the whole internet, man.
Raspberries, internet, and raspberries everywhere.
I hate raspberries. Anyway, but here's the cool thing that just makes me so goddamn jealous. When he hears high-pitched brass instruments, he ends up just like in this feeling of ecstasy, and light blue flashes start flashing in his peripheral vision, which is crazy. And they like looked at him under an MRI while listening to like the theme from James Bond movie, and like his whole brain lights up. The parts of the brain that usually light up for music were not the parts of the brain that lit up. It was just everything, just wow, like a fucking Christmas tree.
That's a built-in acid trip in his brain.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and turn on the James Bond theme, and he starts tripping balls. And it has to be like the higher pitched brass instruments. However, if the tenor pitched brass instrument, there's one called a euphonium. Like once you play one of those, it just like cuts it off immediately.
That's ridiculous.
It is so ridiculous. Anyway, so that is actually a thing. Apparently what happened was, well, he had the stroke in the relay area, and when like all the brain stuff was healing and growing back together, like the nerves got crossed.
He crossed the streams?
Yeah, he crossed the streams. and now he gets free drugs whenever he wants.
Yeah.
That fucking guy, I'm so jealous.
Okay, what's your last story?
So, belief in precognition increases sense of control over life, which sounds like a no-brainer, but, you know, you have to check to make sure all the time. Otherwise, scientists are just talking out their asses like we do.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so this one is basically they tested, about precognition, right? They had these 2 papers from the same scientific journal. One of them was research found evidence supporting the existence of precognition, and then there's like another paper in that same journal that was refuting that. And they had 2 groups of people. One group read the pro-precognition paper, and the other one read the refuting paper. So, after they read those, they were asked to take a questionnaire with questions like, I am in control of my own life, I am able to live my life how I wish, and so on and so forth. And the group that read the paper that talked about precognition being possible scored higher, like, as far as whether or not they felt these questions applied to them, whether they were true or false, than the ones that read the story that was negative on precognition. Mm-hmm. Then they did a second experiment where one group was made to feel like, was put in a situation where they felt a loss of control, and then they read the same pieces, one group reading, the pro, the other one reading the refuting, and then, same thing happened. After they read about the existence of precognition, their sense of control increased, despite the fact that they were just put in a situation where they felt out of control. But it did not increase when they read the one that said it didn't exist. Now, keep in mind, they're not going to... people don't think, oh, I can use my precognition to control this situation. No, nobody thinks that.
Well, I'm sure some people do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some people, maybe. But, yeah, probably, somewhere out there. But yeah, anyway, they also put them in a situation where they were made to feel more in control. And it didn't really affect the answers of the people who read the Precognition Does Not Exist paper, as opposed to the people who read the Precognition Does Exist paper. So it really was just basically being set up to believe in precognition that affected how they felt about control. Because, they feel like they can predict what's going on, what's going to happen. They feel like they understand what's happening more around them, so they feel like they have more information to act on. And it makes perfect sense. So, a lot of people who believe in, seeing the future, horoscopes, or any type of thing like that might actually be a symptom of feeling out of control. Or it might actually be a response to our natural instinct as well.
I see.
Yeah.
I wonder if I've only heard of one paper that suggested it, and if, I want to talk about the experiment that I remember, because it's pretty funny.
Yeah?
How they tested precognition is, they had people hooked up to brain scanners and stuff, and then basically they were shown random images. Some images were random, and then some were sexual.
Ah.
But above chance, the brain reacted to the sexual images before they were showed up. So I wonder if it was that paper that they were talking about. Although I'm sure multiple studies have been done.
Yep. I mean, that's the thing with, anything that, gets relegated to the 000 section of the library. For those of you who know the Dewey Decimal System, that's the stuff that was shown on the unexplained shows. Right below the religion section, which is the 0001, and so on and so forth. Anyway, any of the stuff that's kept in the 000 section of there, I mean, there's going to be scientists. If a scientist can get funding to try to test it, they will. So, I mean, if any of it turns out to be valid, we'll figure it out eventually. And maybe one day we'll figure out enough about the universe to be able to build something that will give us fucking precognition just because we want it.
But I just want to see that grant proposal for the experiment I mentioned. I want to see if people can get precognition boners.
Precognition boners. Nice.
Oh, that's the episode title.
Precognition boners. Yep. So, I'm done with my stories. How are you feeling about the podcast?
I'm feeling pretty good. It was pretty short, but we're sort of getting back in the groove.
Alright.
Speaking of the golden rice thing, a little update on the documentary. I may have mentioned it wasn't happening in one of the announcement videos, but what we're going to do instead is have 4 or 5 episodes of the podcast with the people we were going to interview for the documentary, and then after all that, we'll edit it together into an hour and a half or hour thing.
Yep, with images and cool stuff and some kind of cool music in the background, and it'll be totally legit. And it'll come out when it comes out.
Yeah, no deadlines. But hopefully our next guest will be one of those people.
Yes, hopefully. So, bye now.